Microphones are a go-go. A go-go. You should be able to hear me. Lovely, lovely northern, sultry tones coming to you live from Heavyweight Gaming on a Sunday evening. Is there no evening that we do not stream? Wednesdays. So, welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. If you are new, thank you very much. We are a wonderful bunch of lunatics that like to do tabletop, and we've got so many friends that like doing tabletop that we play as many times as we can with different groups. You'll see the odd player that's been in one or two throughout the week, but we try and split it among as many as we can. We currently stream on a Tuesday, which is DnD5e, a Thursday, which is Carbon 2185, which is cyberpunk based on the 5th Ed OGL stuff. And Saturdays we just started, so last night we did our first session of Pathfinder 2nd edition. We are playing through the Fall of Plaguestone, it's a starter kit. So we're currently doing D&D 5th Ed, Carbon 2185, which is Cyberpunk 5th Ed, and Pathfinder 2nd E. Tonight we will be playing we used to play this monthly last year, but as and there was 7 of us, then 8 of us, then back down to 6, up to 5. Because it was monthly and we were trying to all get round the table together, it kind of got pulled left and right, and it slowed right down, and then the plague hit, so it slowed down even more. But now, because of modern technology and Zoom, we are going to play, or attempt to play, fortnightly. So 2 weeks ago we cracked up the campaign again after about 3-4 months out. It was a bit rusty getting back into it, but we got back into it, and tonight we will be diving right in to a fight, which seems to be the pattern this week. All I seem to have done is run fights straight away at the beginning of the stream. But before we get into that, I'm going to do the lovely stuff of social media. If you look at the bottom of your screen that you are watching us on, you will see Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram and Patreon. You can find us at all of them, and as you can see, everything's pretty much named Heavyweight Gaming in some way. Or Norma, you can't be seen by the viewers. Is this part of your master plan to appear? Or are you feeding the cat? She's here. She's muted, but she's here. Go. So, yeah, social media, you can find us all over the place. We post quite a lot because why not? Our Patreon page, if you are wanting to support us in any way, shape or form financially, you can go to Patreon, and there is a tiering system if you've ever used Patreon before. And anything used we pump straight back into the stream for hopefully better production, artwork that we can get, etc, etc. As a reward to our Patreons, you get access to a monthly magazine called Arcane Script, and it is filled with we play in a homebrew world called Colossus, and it's been made up by minimum 3 of us. A few have popped in and thrown in their own stuff for certain organisations or little bits of culture and stuff, so it's quite a wealth of geeky knowledge, and we're ramming it into this massive fantasy world. Our lead writer is known as Arcane, yeah, and is actually playing with us today in the purple top. Not black, it is purple, due to lighting issues. So yeah, so you will get access to that. It is about 30 pages long. The first one we released was about 21. And the 4th one we released Thursday just gone is 29 pages, might be 30, but I'm pretty sure it's 29. So, and they're just going to get bigger and bigger as myself, Rob, Eddie, when he can be bothered, we pump quite a lot of effort into this magazine, and it is so rich in fantasy lore and stuff like that. Trust me, just get out of it. The first issue is free. If you just jump on, you can get it and have a look at it. So, yeah, just have a look at that. Cool. Sponsors, as you will see under Roberto, you will see Ruffworx Creative. Now, Ruffworx Creative is a lad called Nick who I've known for years and years and years, one of my best men at my wedding, and he is such a talent when it comes to leatherwork, woodwork, anything that doesn't require finesse. Nick is great at. Give him a piece of wood, he'll turn it into a beautiful dice tray. Give him a lump of cowhide and you're rocking around looking like you've just walked out of Game of Thrones. Have a look at him, Ruffworx Creative, as it's spelt on the screen. Go find him on Facebook, look at his photo albums, you will not be disappointed. And if you wish anything from him, contact him and he'll take you from there. Our other sponsor, under the lovely Big Sam, is Sawdust and Swearwords. Exactly that, you can find them on Facebook. They are another bunch of woodworkers, and they have a very different aesthetic to Ruffworx, but again work with wood, and they do lots of things like bowls, candle holders, pens, dice cups, wooden tankards, just anything that he can get on his wood turner and turn into something beautiful to behold. That's what Dave at Sawdust Swearwords does. So check them both out if you're into those little trinkets and stuff, even if it's ornamental that you want around your house. Give them a look. They're brilliant. Jump on and have a look at them. Now I think that is all the boring stuff out of there. So now we are on with the exciting stuff. I will introduce you to our lovely players. I will then recap, and then the players can give you a description of themselves for those that do not know what they look like from their lovely little pictures on their screens. So, my top, I'll go on this screen, not the call, guys, just so you know. So, top left, introduce yourself, Big Sam. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hello, I'm playing Argon Roots, a human bard. He's a young human, brown hair. He's got kind of ranger-esque clothes on, got a bow, and yeah, that's what I was to describe.
Wonderful. Next is Grace. Introduce yourself and let us know what you're playing.
Hey up, Grace. I'm playing Norma. She's a gnome wizard illusionist. Is very small, kind of annoyed with everyone all the time, and is covered in runes, and speaks a lot of languages.
Including Dwarven, but we don't speak about that. Then I have Roberto. Introduce yourself and who are you playing?
I'm Rob. I'm playing Heskin, a blue dragonborn paladin of the Ram, who's got more brains than he does. No, the other way around. He's got more brawn than he does brains.
Describe your character, not yourself, Rob.
I'm trying not to play me.
Well, thank you for the host, Niall. Bottom left-hand corner, Katie. Introduce yourself and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Katie. I've known AD for more years than I care to remember. I'm playing Marcus, who's 6 foot, skinny lad. If you want a job doing that may be not of the legal nature, then you can come to him. He walks between the shadows, let's say. He's a fun character.
Fun. After this session, we will look that word up in a thesaurus and a dictionary. And my bottom right-hand corner, the ever-wonderful Eduardo.
How's it going? I'm Eddie, and the delightful and dashing tales of wonder. Swashbuckler, rogue, all-round gentleman. That's about it, really.
Wow, what colour's your fur?
Like a slick grey, and I've got dazzling green eyes, finely dressed. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Just beautiful all round.
The beautifulest of beautifuls. So, last time we played, we managed to... So the recap in general. You originally started off, as most adventurers do, and I've now... And because I'm DMing so much, it turns out that all my sessions seem to start with somebody either delivering something or picking something up. So, you started this many months ago, delivering barrels of wine to Borjal. On your way of delivering the wine, you were attacked by a couple of mountain ogres, some Shagari elves that have a white stripe across their face, excuse me, they're long dark hair and they're very mountain ranger-esque elves and a bit more wild. They attacked you, you fended them off. You then passed a city, or a large town, that is at the crossroads of trade going further north into the kingdom of Iron. And it was engulfed in a golden fire. There was a large magma smoking cloud above, and Norma managed to, or at least ascertain, a good hypothesis that dragons were involved, despite there being no such thing as dragons in this day and age. You carried on, because, you know, it's just a town breathed in golden fire. Why wouldn't you carry on? On your way, you managed to find a caravan of people, all heading to Borjal. You told them that the town was engulfed in fire and that there was nobody there. They were like, I don't know what you're talking about. Turns out that the Shagari elves had stolen, or at least taken captive, the children of the caravan, and told them that they were responsible for making sure the elf got to Borjal to deliver a diamond. You found the elf, killed the elf. I say you, but it's a group effort. You killed the elf and took the diamond for yourselves. Heading off ahead of the caravan, you were attacked during the night by creatures with bone scythes for arms. Some were similar size to yourselves, some were very much larger than yourselves, spitting fire and acid. They had like carapace armour, they were like a crimson shell colour, and these giant bone scythes did quite a lot of damage, so much so that they took the life of Marcus, your lovely assassin friend. You then headed off to Bojal, and with the body of Marcus, also discovering that the creatures that you fought during the night definitely came across as they were once the humans of the caravan you saw on the way in, and whatever creature was within them had burst out, taking their life and then becoming an entity all on its own. When you got to Bojal, you did a bit of pottering around, and you brought Marcus back from the dead using the diamond that was supposed to be delivered to a white dragonborn alchemist. You didn't deliver the diamond, but you did speak to the alchemist. After much going backwards and forwards to the tavern, to the militia, speaking to a lovely elven librarian, you discovered and deduced that the diamond was used in a potion that the alchemist made to give to these Shigari elves, which allowed them to confirm life. So when something was at the brink of death or was trying to be born, etc., those moments where life and death is ever the slip of a blade, these diamond-infused potions would guarantee the survival of that entity. So if you gave it to a pregnant lady, for example, you'd guarantee that the baby would be born alive. They clearly are using it on people to make these creatures birth successfully. Or at least this is what Gorigar came out with, and you all kind of nodded and agreed. Marcus is alive, and you all decided to head back to go check out the Shigari elves. In doing so, there was a massive fight, and Gorigar, who is not with us tonight, was captured. Stuff happened, and you decided to go get him back. But what you did first was go to Bojal and get the help of 3 of the mercenaries known as the Sabertooths. The 3 that came with you are Tom Leftock, a blonde mohawked, beardless dwarf, bar a bit of stubble, in like leather and plate armour, and he has a dwarven axe that's covered in runes. You had Tidus, a very young, quiet, nervous mage with spiky-ish blonde hair, quite very, very nervous. Every time you approached him or complimented him, he sort of head down and just sort of nodded, etc. You also brought with you the boss lady, Lucia, appears to be a cleric. She is very keen on having her chest on display and being very open to a lot of attention from everyone, really. So she swings 2 short swords, and one of them says pain is temporary, on the other one it says pride is forever. And they accompanied you on the attack that you launched on the cave system of the Shigari elves and these weird scythe creatures that they have with them. You're going in quite hard by the looks of things to try and get Gorigar back. Where we left last session, you'd set your trap up either side of the tunnel mouth. You summoned an earth elemental, or at least Tidus had summoned an earth elemental for you. The fight happened on the outside. Greenbeard, Tails and Marcus came in from the sides and decimated the creatures and elves on the outside, whilst Tom, the earth elemental, and Heskin cleared up most of the central stuff. Heskin being a ranged paladin, just for you folks at home. And you cleared up that mess on the outside. Argon and Norma, our human bard and gnome wizard, managed to sneak in past this distraction and make their way down to a very large chamber. Within the chamber, there was blood all over the floor. And when I say large chamber, the chamber itself is 120 feet across. So it is a monstrously large place to be in. Yep. Once you were in there, you came in from the eastern side of it. You got in there and you could see a couple of these creatures stalking around with their bone size to stalk around sniffing the air. There was one that was larger, same size as the big ones you fought outside, but it had a different aesthetic to it. It had 4 clawed arms rather than 2. Its carapace was a darker red, and it just stood out a lot more. You could see Gorigar, your friend, chained up at the far side, and behind him 2 elves, one with a bow, one with a sword, and they were just chinwagging away until they split up across the chamber. In the middle, so at the far end, but in the middle, so if you drew a middle line through your chamber, you would see the halfling. We do have a upset child. You would see Rosalind, the halfling that Gorigar had been talking about and trying to find. So where we left it is you are all going to give me initiative rolls, because Norma and Argon, you are in that chamber, and Norma, you'd gone down the left hand side, and Argon, you'd gone down the right hand side, to the point where Argon, you are 25 feet from Gorigar, and Norma, you're on the far side, and you had one of those larger creatures sniffing about at you. So
19.
19, so give me a sec. Hey-oh. Ding, 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 ding. So, what the hell's going on here? Right, so let's do this. Marcus, you got a 19, yep. What did you get, Norma, for your initiative? You're on mute. $17 for Norma. Cool. Right, what did you get, Tails?
16.
16 for Tails. I've got some music playing, so ambient, so let us know if you can hear that, folks. Argon, what did you get?
12.
12. Argon gets a 12, and Hesken, what did you get?
19.
19. Where is... Cool. So, you guys are on the outside. What are you doing on the outside? You've just cleaned up. You are ready to come in. Let me... What are you doing? So, Tails, what are you doing?
Are there any more in front of me? There's not.
There's no elves. There's no creatures.
We will. Oh, I will move to the edge of the cave and just start looking ahead and see if there's any more kind of coming out through the cave.
Cool. So you go. So right. So you go to the cave. Marcus and Hesken. You see Tails run up to the cave. You see Tom Tom and Tidus making their way. The Earth Elemental's still in tow.
I want to be making sure I know where the shadows are in this cave. I know it's a cave.
So it is a very large tunnel. It was 20 feet across, so there are elements of rockery and sharper bits that stick out that you could, with your stealth roll. So give me a stealth check.
I have got 23.
23, cool. So you get to the mouth, you're looking around. You don't see anybody ahead of you, apart from the fact that the tunnel forks, and it is almost a perfect, if you were to bird's eye view it, Y. So the tunnel you're coming in, a capital Y, a tunnel you're coming in, and then forks quite evenly.
Can I tell anything about left and right?
Yeah, you know your left and right.
You know what I mean. Can see down left and right.
So give me a perception check.
Well, that's happening.
5.
Cool. You look ahead, and other than it forking left and right, you're a little bit uncertain.
Okay.
So yeah. Heskin, you said while that's happening.
Yep. I'm just going to go barreling into the tunnel. I'm going to try and tap into some divine sense.
Okay.
So I can kind of sense I know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that's not behind total cover. So I'm kind of just tapping into that as I'm going in, hoping to pick up on anything before it notices me.
Cool. So 60 feet. You concentrate. You hear the snorting of the ram and the hoofs tapping on stone as you feel the presence of the ram. And there's nothing that touches your divine sense.
Cool. Walking with the confidence of Billy Big Balls.
Lovely. So you go striding in. Right. Tom, Tidus, and Lucia are all in as well. They're into the cave. Tails, Greenbeard goes stealth.
Greenbeard, if you could watch out here and maybe keep or make noise if anything comes from this side, I will pursue down the tunnel with them.
He is happy to do so.
Good. I'll head down the tunnel.
Cool. Get him out of the way. So you head down the tunnel. Lovely. As you head down the tunnel, are you going left or right?
Which way did they go?
You don't know.
Okay. I will go right.
Cool. So you go right. What about the rest of you? Does anyone want to do a roll to see where they may have gone?
I'm assuming that I see Tails.
Yeah, you see Tails. He's not.
Okay, I'll follow Tails.
Cool. So you go right. What about the rest of you?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Tails could take the lead.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So you all go right.
I'm gonna keep knocking on my divine sense as much as I can, just to see if I can pick up any clues of whether or not this direction seems like a good idea.
Cool. So as you get to the fork, as you all get to the fork, now initiative will kick in. All right. So you are right at the fork now. Marcus, you and Heskin. Marcus, I'm assuming your dexterity is higher than Heskin, so you're going to go first. So I'm changing your initiative to 20. So, Marcus, you are up.
What am I seeing? Sorry.
You are looking down a tunnel made of. It has been made rather than natural. Either something very large or lots of people with tools and implements made this tunnel.
I'm not loving the fact that on the side of the tunnel it looks like it might have been chewed out.
So,
yeah. So I'm going to be on guard for any kind of ground shakes, things like that, as I move along.
Okay.
Because obviously something that big is going to give a bit of a earth movement.
It is. Do you move your 30 feet?
Not for now.
Cool. So give me a perception check while you're staring down the thing. Heskin, you're next. What are you doing?
Still
21.
going down the corridor.
So you're just going to keep walking your 30 feet
Keep walking
and trying
30
your
feet.
divine sense.
Divine sense. If it looks like the divine sense isn't working,
You're not picking anything up, mate.
then in which case I'm just going to hold my action and shoot anything I don't recognise.
So
not
walk 30 feet, hold your action, yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely.
If
Did you
it
get-
ain't Norma, Sam, or Gorigar, then it's getting shot.
Cool. It is now Tom Lefthook's turn. He will kind of just look at the confidence of and the conviction of Tails stalking forward. He'll just follow suit and go down the right hand side with you. And you can see him with his huge double-bladed ruined axe, just ready, similar to how Heskin is, in case anything comes too close. It's getting smashed in the face. Norma, you are in the chamber on the left-hand side. There is one of the creatures next to you. It is a large creature, and therefore is taking up 4 squares on a map. It is sniffing at you. You cannot see Argon. It did sniff around you, but didn't quite engage with you. What do you do?
If it's still near me, I'm just gonna stay where I am because I'm invisible. So I'm just not gonna try and make any noise at all.
Are you going to hold an action?
I'll hold an action in case combat goes out, starts going.
Okay, so
But,
what is the action?
You can't hold to cast a spell, can you?
No, you can only
Can you?
hold. Are you a warcaster?
No,
Then no, you can't.
I'm a librarian. I'll hold an action to run away if this fighting starts.
Cool. Lovely. So that is Norma's turn. Norma, you see the elf with the blonde hair in the green armour with the bow move over to Rosalind on the floor. Yep. And from here, give me a perception check. What do you get?
$14.
14. Cool. Do you speak Elven? Oh no, it's just Greenbeard and Marcus, isn't it? Yeah. So you know that the green armoured archer is speaking Elven, but you don't know what they're saying. But they're definitely concentrating on the body of Rosalind, who is laid flat on the floor with blood seeping out. Whether she's dead or alive, you will have yet to ascertain. That's his go. Tails, just stonking forwards.
Yeah, unless I see anything, any sounds, any sights that.
So give me a perception check. Do you get any weird advantages for being Tabaxi?
I think I've just got dark vision, and that's
No,
about
so
it.
you don't get hearing or anything. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Perception. 13.
13.
Yeah.
Cool. You can hear conversation up ahead in Elven.
I turn around and hold my hands up to the rest of them. Be like they're speaking.
Cool. Do you do anything else?
Does anybody speak Elven? Do I know it's Elven? Actually,
You are aware that you are aware what Elven sounds like. You just don't know what they're saying.
Somebody's speaking in Elven. Do any of you speak Elven?
You are muted.
Am I muted?
Mute. No, Marcus is muted. They've changed position. Did someone turn their camera on and off?
No.
Jesus Christ. Right.
I just got a phone call that I had to take from Laura. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. That's literally what's happened. Right, viewers. I'm now going to have to move you a lot about.
So sorry.
That's alright. So he asked you if anyone speaks Elven, and you said yes. So what you hear while I'm trying to do this, Marcus, is a bunch of elves talking about the halfling. They're finally going to do it. What they're on about, they don't know, but they're finally going to do something to the halfling that they seem to have been building up to. They've even got a bonus dragonborn thrown in for the mix.
Mm-hmm.
So they're quite happy about this.
Did you want my perception as well, by the way?
No, once Tails has kind of pointed it out to you and stuff, this is you're okay. So this is going to be lovely.
I can speak in Elvish, can't I?
You can indeed. So once he has told you all about them, you are aware that my life is shocking. Right, kids, you are going to have to entertain the viewers while I put you all back, because you are all in different places.
This is all Katie's fault.
Oh, shut up!
I mean, true, but you know.
My daughter rang me, darling, and I don't mean to be rude because you know I love you, Big Sam, but she's more important to me than you are.
Oh, that is outrageous.
What about me?
Oh shit, I'm heartbroken. So moving on.
Feel free to move on with someone. Sam, sing a song. You're a bard.
I'm not a real bard. I'm a fake, but I'm a made up bard.
That's why I'm playing D&D, man.
I've all dice and shit, man.
Dice.
Don't do that. Yeah. So. Actually, fuck this. I've got a good story actually.
Go on, go.
Been going to work for the last 3 days.
All right, it's not a D&D story. Great, brilliant.
Right. That's what we're going to work for the last 3 days. Coming on the first day. There's a duck in the middle of the road.
Right, cool. Everyone's back in the right place. So
There
thanks
you go.
very much for that, Sam. Do you want to finish your story?
No.
Cool. End of the story. Dwarf dies. How did the party meet then? Right, well, seeing as you asked that and no one answered, Niall, Greenbeard, Marcus, and Tales of Wonder all work. Greenbeard's on a ship that carries the wine. Tails works for the wine merchant. Marcus owns a tavern. So them three work together in a nice business relationship. Heskin and Gorigar are Dragonborn brothers, both paladins, and both essentially make their living protecting the caravans up and down through the Kingdom of Iron. Norma and Argon kind of know each other from being young'uns. Norma learned basic magic at one of the schools in the town. Argon's a bard that grew up there and just likes to play a bit of music. Then joined somewhere called the Watchers of Ravenholm and was sent on his walk. So for 2 years he gets to be chilled out. He's on a uni break. He's taking the year out. Boom, there we go. 3, 2, 1, back in the room. That's how we do backstories in 4 seconds. So,
How long in 4 seconds?
Marcus, you are aware that they are speaking Elven and that they are very happy that they have got the halfling and that they're finally getting to do whatever it is they're excited about. They've also got a bonus blue dragonborn with what you deem to be sapphire scales as they're speaking about them. And yeah, they're very happy about what they're doing. You do hear multiple voices like behind those. Like there's more than just these two people sharing a conversation.
Sure. Can I actually see these people? Sorry.
You can't see them, no, you can just hear them.
Is it pitch black or are they around a corner somewhere?
They are round the bend.
Okay. Then I'm going to let... if Tails is next to me, obviously, then I'm going to let him know what I can hear and give him a rough estimate of how many numbers.
So you can hear too. The rest of the noise is muffled, but it definitely sounds like a collective of people rather than the odd one or two having spoken. They are not talking about infiltrators or catching anyone or anything like that. They seem to be, those ahead of you, blissfully unaware of whatever is happening. By the way, you do have a massive earth elemental with you that you can all hear walking.
That is not my responsibility or problem. Right.
I'm just letting you know. When you go, well, I rolled a stealth 28, and I go, yes, but you have King Kong behind you. So, that is Tails is go. Do you react, or other than telling Marcus that information, do you do anything else? Tails?
I will hold my action like as an attack, that if anybody comes around the corner that is not a friend of mine, basically, stab them.
Cool, so that's everyone, yeah? Moving on to Tidus, he kind of looks to Lucia and TomTom for lead. They've just nodded at you, and he's just following at the back. He is still at the back, he's maintaining concentration on the Earth Elemental. And yeah, he's just staying as far back as he can while making sure the Earth Elemental don't go mental and kill everyone. So, Argon and Norma. Obviously, Argon, you're in the room with Norma, but at the far side of it, and you saw the elf walk over to Rosalind and start saying elven words over her, and the bleeding on the floor. You can also see Gorigar 25 feet from you, and the elf in the like dark blue padded armor walks over to Gorigar and kicks him. Yeah, you hear Origar groan, and then it just keeps kicking him like 3 or 4 times.
As I remember, I was quite close, wasn't I, Eddie?
You're 25 feet from Gorigar, yeah.
Because, not Gorigar.
Yeah.
Yes, Gorigar. Yes, Gorigar.
Yeah. So the smaller of the creatures, yep.
Mhm.
The smaller of the creatures sort of zigzags across to where Rosalind is. So
Rosalind's there as well.
So yeah, Rosalind's on the floor in the middle, at the far side of the chamber, but in the middle of it. If it was in 3 sections, she's in the 3rd section in the middle. And so now you've got the Elven Archer and the small, the medium-sized variety of these bone scythe creatures stood over Rosalind. And you see the creature start tearing into itself with its own scythes, its own bone arm scythes, and just taking chunks out of itself as it bleeds, and bits of it fall onto Rosalind. And it is your go, Argon.
Chunky. So there's someone right over the top of Gorigar, yes? Yeah,
so if Gorigar is 25 from you, they are 30. So in this chamber, you can see one of the medium-sized creatures that is slashing itself to bits. An archer with green armour on over Rosalind. At the far side of the chamber, yep. So 60 feet from you, where Norma went, she went to the left-hand side of the chamber, you've gone to the right. You see one of the bigger creatures, but with multiple bone scythe arms and stuff. And a warrior elf with a curved blade in their hand. Kicking Gorigar.
30 feet away. How far is 30 feet? Can I get anywhere near the pit for 30 feet away?
The pit from you, the edge of it is 30 feet away, yes. But that means you'll be walking out into the room.
Oh no, yeah. I'm not doing that. With a minor illusion, a fat hobbit next to the pit.
For fuck's sake. Alright. You, minor illusion, a fat hobbit.
Really juicy, man. I'm talking plump. He's got that really got like weird meat sweats on his cheek.
God. So is that an action? You are aware that casting magic from hiding will reveal you.
It's only a little bit of magic.
My bad. It's just a little bit of fat hobbit that's been summoned from nothingness from a bard who relies on sound to cast their magic.
Whoa, no. It's a cantrip.
So, as you summon your little fat hobbit, that many of you who are not there have seen before, the larger creature across the room turns and faces it. So you see this Norma, and you see the familiar portly hobbit that you're used to Argon summoning for distraction purposes.
I want to do it right on it, like teetering on the edge, like you know.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's right on the edge, mate. It is on a donkey on the edge.
Does everyone turn around, or just a big one?
Right now, that's all. Like, don't forget, this is all instantaneous.
Yeah.
Like the entire turn order is 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So right now, that big creature turned.
I will.
And you obviously don't feel as hidden.
Of course. I shall.
Shall you? Shall you?
Shall do something. I shall do something. I'll cast Healing Word on Gorga. Bonus action.
Cool. As you cast the spell,
Yep.
you kind of whisper the, like almost say the glyphs rather than say any audible words, and your healing word reaches out to Gorigar, and as if you've just thrown a water balloon into a fire, it evaporates instantly and does not take purchase on Gorigar. Your healing word is cast
towards the door.
Your healing word is cast, so you have cast the spell, but you know 100% it does not take effect on Gorigar.
Okay. Well, that's. What the fuck am I going to do now?
Well, you've got your movement left, and you're about to be in a fight with things that can see you. So.
Am I next? What? So I'm next to the little one, and
you're not next to the little one.
I'm 25 feet away.
You're 25 feet away from Gorigar.
Right.
Yep. Your hobbit is 30 feet from you.
Mm-hmm.
The blue armoured elf is 30 feet from you. But everything else is quite far. Like the big creature at the far side, 60 feet. The medium creature and the armoured archer, like 35 and 45. Norma, you can't see because she's invisible, but you know she's on the far side somewhere. And you are 65 feet from the door you came in. But anyway, I said door, it's a 40 foot across door. But so you go
lay down on the ground.
So you go prone?
No.
Just
I'll end my turn there, mate. See what happens. Fuck it.
See what happens.
Yeah.
It is now the massive creature's turn. And it will roar, screech, and it echoes around this massive antechamber that you're in. And it goes bolting across around the pit and swings at the minor illusion. Does the minor illusion have like an AC or anything, or is it just...
No, it's just actually no, nothing. Just invisible. It's just incorporeal.
It's incorporeal, so cool. So it just starts slashing into it, and it'll use all its attacks on this minor illusion, and it kind of dissipates. Yep.
It's still there, I think. It doesn't say anything about if it gets attacked.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just gone through it. It's just
yeah,
it's just hitting through it.
Yeah.
So Lucia,
it can do an investigation check to see if it's.
Oh Jesus!
If it's
18. So it is quite aware. I rolled a 19, mate. It was minus 1. It is quite aware that the thing is now not real, but it has frustrated out onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it is now Lucia's turn, and she obviously hears Tails and Marcus say a couple of things, and she's like, "So, what's the plan? If your friends went this way into the elves ahead, would they not know about it?" And that'll be her go. Greenbeard does things on the outside that you do not know. Marcus, you've heard the elves. Tails has told you about them. You've listened in on their conversation. Lucia has thrown a little bit of a, suggestion. There's quite a lot of elves ahead of you. If Norma and Argon would have either been caught or, etc., maybe they'd be talking about it. They seem quite casual about what's going on in the day to these elves. But it is your turn. You've only just gone past the fork, and the first bend in this tunnel is about 40 feet from you.
Move forward 30 feet then.
Move forward 30 feet. So you move forward 30 feet. You can now hear the elves. Obviously sound is travelling because you're in a tunnel. It is a wide tunnel. It is about 25 feet across, 30 at some points. You can hear them closer, or at least their voices carrying enough, and they're not being quiet. They're still in Elven talking. One or two of them now start bragging about what they're going to do to Borjal when they've completed their summoning.
I'm relaying all of this back to Tails, who I'm assuming is following me, but I don't know for definite.
Well, Tails is 30 feet from you. Because until it's his turn and he moves up next to you, he's still 30 feet from you. So when you say relaying... right now... Go on, sorry.
Have I got any more idea of numbers? Now that I'm closer.
Give me a perception check.
12.
12. Still more than the two. You can hear other conversations happening. Some of them as trivial as like talking about cloak making or what sort of fur to, whoever's ahead of you is in casual mode. But there is definitely more than the two, and there's quite a thrum of noise, but you can't pick out the separate voices enough to give numbers.
Are they? If we go round the bend, have I got any idea that we will have to go? They're blocking the tunnel.
You have no idea until you go around the bend.
And that'll be my next turn, won't it? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So the bend is 40 feet from you, and you can only move 30 feet. So you're still 10 feet from the Peekaboo bend, essentially.
That's my go then.
Do you want to hold your action? Like hold a bow shot or a swing of your sword in case somebody walks around the corner?
No, I'll just sink into the nearest shadow, please.
Cool, give me a stealth check.
21.
21.
He's a good little boy.
Heskin. There's elves ahead.
I'm looking towards Marcus, and
Marcus is 30 feet from you.
and back, just kind of like, it's a fair point. If everything was kicking off this way, then elves seem perfectly fine. But I think, just keep with close to. I was going to look at Tails. It's going to hold its turn until Tails takes a turn.
So you can't hold your turn. You can only hold an action.
Aye.
So you can't move yourself in the initiative order.
I could hope. I can try. That's fine. He's basically going to hold back until Tails does something.
Cool.
But he's still going to hold his action
In case something
anything
threatening comes
around
around.
the corner.
Cool. Yes. So, next up we have Tom Tom. Well, look at you lot. Obviously, look at Lucia. Sort of nod and agree. Look at Marcus, who walked off 30 feet and then not vanish, but mould into the rock a bit and just kind of keep himself tucked away. Tom Tom just looks at you lot. I don't mind killing elves. And he'll ready his axe. But he will again wait for Tails, who seemed to have taken the lead on the way in. Norma! You can now see Argon across the way. He is out, he is no longer hiding, he's about 70, 75 feet from you.
Oh dear.
And you see the halfling.
How far is the halfling away from me, sir?
Halfling from you is 45 feet. Ish. But you can now see Argon just stood there. No longer hiding in the shadows. Living the dream.
So, I'm just checking invisibility to see what drops it.
Living the dream is the correct answer to that.
As long as I don't attack or cast a spell, I'm invisible.
Yep.
Nice. I'll start crossing the room, heading towards Argon,
Cool.
avoiding other people.
Yep, so there's nothing in front of you. Are you moving your full movement?
Yes. Take me halfway across the room, won't it?
Ish, yeah. So,
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll sit in the middle.
cool, so you are now 10 feet from the pit, the 10 foot by like 6-7 feet tall that's in the middle of the room. Your feet are now walking through blood and it is sticky and thick and still warm.
I would try and avoid the blood if I can, just because I don't want to leave footprints.
That's a fair point. That was my thematic mistake. Oh look, bloody footprints. She's there. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll make a note of that for next time you guys are walking through blood. So do you do anything else? Are you holding an action? Just you can't hold a spell. I suppose you could hold a wand attack.
I can hold an attack though. I do have a crossbow, so I'll hold my action to shoot an elf if combat starts.
Cool. That is Norma's go. It is now the archers. So the green armoured archer, they now whisper something that you can't hear anymore, Norma. And the body of Rosalind begins to shake and convulse on the ground. Yep. And start tearing. And as the body starts tearing, you can see these weird, like dripping with, internals of a halfling, bone claws, like pulling out, and then there is like a woof of arcane energy that's spreading out of the body, and you can see like the dust and debris on the floor get sort of pushed out every time this convulsion happens with Rosalind's body, and then the elf passes out on the floor. Well, at least hits the deck. Almost like crumples. Tails, it is your go. Marcus is 30 feet ahead of you. You've seen Marcus do the usual and hide as her roguey stuff. You were all still stood back. Clearly people are looking at you for a bit of a nod.
So how far is the corner then?
The corner from you is 40 feet. Marcus,
okay,
what, 30 feet?
I'll move up 30 feet and prepare to go around the corner and engage some elves.
So give me a perception check.
That is 16.
Cool. So, even though you can't speak Elven, you can kind of pick out the variation in pitch of voice and just general different noises. And you reckon there's well over double figures heading in this direction. Again, they sound a lot closer because of the echo through the tunnel, but there's still a fair amount of them. And there doesn't seem to be a rushed tone in the way they're speaking to each other.
I look back to the rest of them and like hold my hands out like that, so like above 10, make this the sign for it, so like above 10 to the rest of the ones behind me, and I will basically look as if I'm going to engage bot next turn, because if I dash around the corner, I'm going to get all of them in my face.
Yes, you are. It is now Tidus's turn. Tidus has kept the Earth Elemental stood still, almost rock steady, but he's still awaiting orders of what to do. He does, like, even though you've moved ahead, he's got no interest in sending the large Earth Elemental forwards. Yep. It is now Argon. You see the elf that was kicking Gorigar on the floor suddenly go, like, kind of react to the large creature attacking and its blades just going through this image, and the eyes look straight at the human bard that has now revealed themselves.
As it's intelligence check now,
it will run in, and as this elf steps into you, you can see the blade that it is carrying has a slight curve to it. It is of a longsword nature, but with a slight curve to it. Their armour is lightweight, with bits of hide and fur from the, as you saw in the other Shigari, spending most of the time rangering in the mountains. But they're definitely not happy with your presence and will be shouting at you in Elven. And you're a human, you have no justification for being in this chamber, and will swing at you with their longsword. So a 17 and an 11 as two longsword attacks come smashing in at you. Does the 17 hit?
For the 17, I'll use cutting words.
Cool. Is that...
Hold on.
Oh, he's got actual cutting words.
Roll the dice. I'll say something along those lines. Well, you missed with the first one. Now make your mama proud. And knock it down 5. That's 11. That's 12.
12. What's your AC?
15.
Cool. So it misses. So both, the first longsword attack comes in. You duck under it. You gob off back as the second attack comes in. And just as the sword's about to strike, the elf sort of tilts his head. Right. You what? In Elven. You what? That'll be his go. Bless him. The little creature, well, the medium-sized bone-sized creature, is just tearing chunks out of itself, and it is now starting to sort of stagger and almost drunkenly, as the final bits of it and its organs, its internal organs, start pouring out onto Roslyn, and you can see that Roslyn's corpse and whatever entity is coming out of it is absorbing as this puff of arcane energy sort of pulses out. Rosalind and this creature are swelling in size, and the medium-sized creature's blood and bits and bobs of it are feeding whatever this creature is. This goes on for a few more heartbeats, and the creature is completely consumed, as tearing out of a very small halfling and now growing to the size of a huge creature. You see before you what to yourselves looks like it is. So if you were to look at a grid, it is 5 squares by 5 squares. This thing, so it's 25 feet by 25 feet space it occupies. It has 2 massive arms, big thick forearm carapace with smaller shoulders, a huge mantis meets ant kind of skull with 2 big fudge off bone sides coming out of its face. It stands up, it's sort of in that silverback position where its hind legs are short and squat, and then its upper half is just a bulk of carapace and chitinous armour. And it screeches, and as it screeches, 60 feet, Norma and Argon and the elf. Can you all give me a wisdom check? No, I don't need to roll twice. So. You got them wisdom checks?
13.
13, so you're fine. Norma, you got an 8. Norma, you are frightened of the creature. Argon, you are not. What did you get? 13? Yeah, you are not. You are fine. You will just succeed on your not being scared of the enormous Umber Hulk-esque creature in front of you. I say in front of you, it's a beast. It's a monster. Is your little halfling concentration? Just so I know.
It's a cantrip, mate. No.
Alright, cool. How long does it last?
So, 1 minute.
Alright, cool. You've loads of time. What you do notice, Hagen, is the sword-swinging elf in front of you. As the screech echoes around the antechamber, sort of starts shaking, almost loses grip of his longsword. It's now your go.
I'll go. I will. Turn invisible.
You gonna go invisible?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
I'm gonna turn invisible. I move towards Gorigar.
You move towards Gorigar. Cool. The elf cares not and does not swing out at you.
I'm invisible.
So, you were still stood right in front of him on a stone floor.
Ah, okay.
So the first thing I would do if my enemy went invisible would be to swing wildly. But on that one, he doesn't even know that you've left. So, you are now stood right next to Gorigar on the floor. Gorigar is chained up in manacles. There is a slow breathing to him, but he's out cold.
Is he chained to a wall?
Nope, he's just there chained. To himself, you know what I mean? His manacles are localised to ankle, wrist, and a chain belt, like prison style.
I'm gonna try and pick up.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and drag him slowly.
So you're there. So you've got, how far can you move? 30 feet?
Yeah.
Cool. So you will be half movement while dragging Gorigar. So you can. You succeed in dragging Gorigar 5 feet.
Okay. That's your lot.
Cool.
Well, I could try. Yeah, I can't. Well, yeah, cool. It's cursed. And boom.
So, the large creature that is attacking your illusion. That's 2 nat ones in a row. Still attacks the illusion. It sees you and is sort of roaring, and you look over your shoulder, and it, I say sees you. It sees Gorrigar moving, and it roars and scratches at the halfling in front of it, probably trying to get rid of it before taking on the floating body of Gorrigar. I think it'd been nice if you'd picked him up. It'd have been, oh my god, he's possessed.
I was kind of like pull his foot or something around. I was kind of sliding sort of.
So that is its go. So the room you are now in, Norma and Argon, now has a huge creature, a large creature, and an elven swords swinging lunatic. Norma, you're not up yet, but just make sure you know what Frighten does. Lucia looks around, looks at Tom Tom, gives a nod, looks at Tidus, gives a nod, shrugs her shoulders, and walks forwards 30 feet to join the rest of the advancing folk. Greenbeard does things that you lot don't know about. Marcus, you see Tails, just like you could probably step out and touch him if you wanted to, but then you would obviously be not stealthing anymore. But he's pretty close, walked up to the same place-ish that you walked to. Lucia, the boss lady of the 3 servitors that are with you, has come up there. You're very aware she's human, like yourself, and she's walking in this darkened tunnel. It's not pitch black, but it's still pretty dark. Easier than you.
Wow. I'm going to move up to the tunnel bend then.
Cool, so you move 10 feet forwards. As you look round the bend, give me a perception check.
Oh, shit. 5.
Cool. You can see in the flickering, so what they've done is they've put lighting almost 20 feet apart around here, because they're pretty good at seeing in dim light and such. So they don't want it pitch black, but they don't want it bright either, because very much like yourself, you prefer the odd shadow now and then to take advantage of. But ahead of you, you can see quite a collection of elves. They almost seem like not a soldier unit, but they are a group of elves that are dressed similar to the ones you fought out in the mountain roads. You can hazard a guess as they are heading to the exit where you guys have not far come in to probably go into those same mountains. They look like they're ready to travel. So they
don't look malicious.
They don't look what, sorry?
Malicious. They don't look like they're ready to stab us.
Nope. As far as you can ascertain from your perception of 5, they look blissfully unaware that anything is going on in this complex.
Well, I'll try and move past it.
You're going to try and move past the thing? Right, so they are about 30... Well, they're probably a bit further than 30 feet away from you, and you've got 20 feet of your movement left.
So, sorry, let me see if I'm understanding this correctly. I walked up to the bend in the tunnel.
Yep. And 30 feet...
Does the tunnel go past them, or are they just in the tunnel?
They're in the tunnel. They're not sat in their little cubbyhole off to the side. They're walking down the tunnel towards you lot. And they are dressed like those that were out in the mountains. So if they're leaving the cave complex, they're just walking down the tunnel. A lot of them, you can't catch how many because of where the shadows are going and them crossing in front of each other, and you roll low. But you are aware that there is a lot of them, and they all look like they're ready to go. Similar to yourselves, out on the road, they've got backpacks, quivers are tied tight, bows in hand, swords sheathed. There just seems to be a lot of these ranger-looking elves, like mountain ranger-esque elves, looking ready to, leave, essentially. Go on the road.
I will tell, I will, as much as I can, signal what I can see and then slip into the shadow again. Because I want to let them leave, because they don't, from what I can see, they don't look a threat, they just look like they're leaving.
So you do your hand signals. You go into stealth mode. So roll me a stealth check.
Is it just nat 1 that's a problem, or what about 2?
Well, it's,
I got 10 because I got stealth of 8. But...
Yeah, cool. So your stealth score is 10. That's all you need to know. Nat 1 is outright fail. 2 and up is just a low roll.
Okay.
Oh, well, depending on your thing. So, Tails and Heskin can see you without even trying to. So you're not convinced you are that well hidden. But that is your turn.
Okay.
Heskin. What are you doing, lad? You've been signalled that there is a fair amount of incoming, and from the best charades ever displayed in a dark tunnel, Marcus is in some attempt trying to tell you to let them past. You look over your shoulder at the 15-foot earth elemental, taking up half the tunnel. Give me an Arcana check, Heskin.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yep.
17.
17.
That's not bad.
That is actually quite good. Yeah, so you know. I mean, it's not your type of skill set, but you're quite aware that Tidus, as long as he's in control of the elemental, can get rid of it.
Okay.
But if he's not in control of it, he can't get rid of it. Just throwing it out there.
So I know to the extent that he can only stop controlling it if he's hit.
So he has to concentrate on the spell.
Yeah.
That keeps the earth elemental on this plane. Yep. And keeps his control of it on this plane. If Tidus so wishes, he can dismiss the earth elemental back to the earth elemental plane, the elemental plane. If he doesn't control it, he can't dismiss it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just asking if Heskin knows enough to be like, if he stops control, if he gets like hit, it's like.
You are aware.
Does Heskin understand concentration checks?
Yes, because you have them yourself.
Okay. In which case,
you are not the only creature on Colossus that's ever cast a concentration spell.
I mean, he's not a wizard, isn't there? How it works. It might not be the same. Probably just go to Tidus and send that round the corner.
As in forwards into the elves?
Sending the earth elemental around the corner to the elves.
As you are, a member of the Sabertooths currently, Tidus looks at Lucia. Lucia nods, and you see him, prepare his command to send the earth elemental in. What else are you doing?
I'm getting ready for any elf that comes around the corner to shoot it.
Do you move, or do you just prepare a shot?
I'm moving up closer to where Marcus is. But,
you see Marcus leant against the wall.
Yep. Right. Give him a nod.
Tom obviously hears you say, Tidus, send the earth elemental in. At which point Tom is probably the first time since you met him smiling. And he just walks forward and stands next to you, nods at Marcus, nods at Tails, and just stands in the middle of the tunnel with his axe ready. Norma, back in the antechamber, you are absolutely frightened. I nearly said petrified. There you go. Of this enormous hulking bug creature, and you can't make any movement towards it, and you are at disadvantage whilst in sight of it. That doesn't mean you can close your eyes and it goes away. You can see Gorigar moving, but you can't see Argon anymore. And there is still that creature in front of you, about 20 feet from you, slashing away at the hobbit, halfling, bobbit. We love you, Tolkien. So what do you do, Norma?
Okay. So are they within? I can't cast a spell really, can I? I can't head towards them because the creature's in that direction as well, isn't it?
So the creature is between you and Argon, but obviously between you and the way you came in, there's nothing.
Okay. Where's the pit to me as well?
The pit to you is about 15 feet from you, right next to the creature.
Okay. I'm going to head to them and try and drag Goragar a bit closer as well.
So how far can you move? 25?
25, yeah.
So you can't make any step closer to the big creature. So if you go...
Yeah. You
So,
said...
so now Argon is 40 feet from you, but toward, like, he's towards the creature. So you wouldn't be able to go nearer to him. You'd have to wait for him to get to you.
Oh, that's the question I asked, is could I... Okay. The answer is no then. I'll walk back the way I came then.
So you're going to go to the doorway?
Yeah, I'm going to go out. Basically try and get out.
Cool. Just so you know, and to remind you, Argon's going to pull Goragar past the blue armoured elf with the sword.
Yes.
Yeah, just so you know. So you're going to move...
Yeah. But, like, again, I cannot progress forward.
Yep.
So I might as well move back, and then I can always blast them from range if needed.
That's true.
Like, I'm not a melee fighter. You don't need to be close to the guy.
Just checking something. Ding 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 ding. At the end of your turn, you may do another wisdom save. See if you are still frightened. Ding, ding, ding. You are no longer frightened, Norma, as you kind of shake your lovely gnomish locks. You now stare at the hulking creature across the way, and the one closer to you, still trying to stab the illusionary halfling. And yes, you are no longer frightened, but that is you done and dusted with movement and such. Tails! You can hear the voices coming closer. You are aware that there is more than 10.
Well,
Marcus
I
is
guess
leaning on a wall.
I will lead the charge and head round the corner.
Cool, as you go tear-assing round the corner. Hey, what did you just do there, Marcus? Your camera went off for a second. So, Tails, you go tear-assing round the corner. Yep. And you see before you lots and lots of elves. They are all dressed in Outlander garb, as if they were going out for several days. Backpacks, bedrolls, very similar to what a lot of your companions have got on them. They're obviously thicker and warmer because they spend time in the mountains. They all have quivers on their back and swords at their hips, and they're just carrying their longbows in their hands. There's a variety of longbow and shortbow. You rock round the corner, so you are, what are you, 40 feet movement? Or are you 35 still?
30.
30? I thought you could go really
Yep.
far. Or you use your feline grace and stuff. So you move 10 feet forward to the bend, and then 30 feet from you round the corner. Well, they'll be right on you now. So you could get into combat with these double figures elves. You still can't see how many there is because of the way the lighting is and the shadows, but there is definitely over 10. You are very, very confident there is over 10. And you could rock in, but you'd be running into 3 of them. Imagine yourself on a grid. You'd have one in front of you and then diagonally left and right. I will allow you. What was your initiative? 16. You get a surprise on a fair few of them. Doesn't help you, but yes.
I will raise my short bow.
Yep.
So I go around the corner as I see them all. I raise my short bow and I'm like, I suggest you all put your weapons down. I have you surrounded, and you don't want to die.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check at disadvantage with a sky high DC.
16.
Cool. All these elves look at you and see this grey-furred, beautifully dressed tabaxi with a short bow in his hand, and they just look at each other, look at you, and they just really don't know how to react, but they haven't yet reacted. There's no shouting or kicking off. There's very much a stunned, what the is this? I mean, who let him in?
I will then
in Elven.
hold my arrow as an action to fire if one of them makes aggressive movements.
Glad you said that. I thought you were just holding your arrow. It's like, I will hold my arrow.
Ready to fire if one of them makes an aggressive movement towards me.
Cool. Jesus. As that happens, you hear as a earth elemental comes tear-assing round the corner. Yes. And it just comes smashing round the corner, and it is about 10 feet from you, behind you. And as that happens, there is aggressive action towards you, Tails, as about 6 of the elves in front of you just see the earth elemental and pull arrows. So fire.
I'll be like, I did warn you, and then I'll shoot just one of them in front of me.
Cool. Give me a attack roll.
That is a 14.
You're 14. You shoot the arrow. It goes into the masses and just misses. You can see it wing off into the shadows, but you don't see it hit anything. So that's your held action. The earth elemental runs round. In the chamber, the scaredy cat elf sees that is running around, sees Gorigar being pulled along, is absolutely crap scared of the hulking creature. It can't go near Gorigar because of the creature, and will bolt in the direction that Norma went and the way Argon's going. Norma, 10 feet from you, an elf in blue armour with a sword comes running past you, quite distraught and saying a lot of words in Elven, but there's, you can tell that this elf is scared. Right, now the creature. Yeah. The big bastard, we'll call him from now on. It will move towards the pit and is now right on the pit. Normally you can see it right on the pit, but you don't care, you're not scared. And it reaches down across the pit and grabs the creature that was attacking the halfling and just starts tearing through it, eating it, as it uses its devour action and devours the creature, or at least spends its turn devouring that creature. You can hear the screeching and crunching of the carapace as the creature it is devouring is still alive, and you've fought these things or similar to these things and know they can take a whooping. So you are happily aware that this creature may take a round or two to eat its prey. Yeah, happily. We are now on Argon. Argon, you just keep pulling. So with your dash and movement, instead of 60 feet, you can pull Gorigar 30 feet.
Is there a way to pull Gorigar without going directly into contact with people?
Yeah, so you're still on the bottom. Imagine you're in a large room, mate. You're on the bottom of the... You're going against the wall, mate. This creature's in the middle, and the elf that's running away is similar on the wall that you are, but bolting out the door, or the 40-foot archway.
Is there any way I could move faster with the corpse? I mean, Gorigar?
Wow, Jesus. Sensitivity levels. If you're dragging Gorigar, you're at half movement. So if you have spells, you'd still be carrying the load.
Ah, okay.
So if you have spells that can aid you, then yes. But just physical strength will be half movement.
Nah.
No.
£10 ain't gonna work. Yeah, I'll just keep pulling it. If anything comes near me though.
Gone.
Run away. No, yeah, I'll just keep pulling them along the wall, mate.
Cool. So you move another 30 feet, just dragging Gorigar along. Give me a perception check as you're dragging Gorigar.
Oh, that's a D10.
Gorigar is not making any groans and grunts, so you're pulling him along a stone floor that has got bits of debris on it. He's clearly not dead, hence the shallow breathing and the odd noise, but it's not a moan. It's like someone talking in their sleep real quiet, but there's no change of like you dragging him, and there's no sign that he even knows he's been dragged.
Well, I've got a 21 then.
Cool.
For perception, which I asked me to.
Did you not already say it? I went on your dice roll, mate. You said it out loud, which was enough. But 21 is definitely definitely up there, lad. I'll send you a text. So that is Argon's go. Lucia will. Lucia will clasp the heart-shaped holy symbol hanging nicely on her chesticles. FYI, people, this NPC was designed by my missus, so chesticles is an important thing. Just putting it out there for any disclaimers. She grabs hold of the heart-shaped holy symbol. There is a divine energy that surrounds her and starts swirling out from her, and her spirit guardians, all from Ann Summers? No, her spirit guardians descend, and they're in a 30-foot aura around Lucia, and you can see these very small, like cherub-like creatures with little bows and arrows, and some of them have long blonde hair, some of them have long brown hair, and they're just very angelic looking, and they are just whizzing around her with these little bows and little daggers. You get other people involved, you see what happens. So yeah, so Lucia casts Spirit Guardians and walks forwards, and is now at the bend. Tails, you can feel and see these cherub archers and dagger cherubs swirling around you, and you see Lucia behind you with 2 short swords, one in each hand. Bam, 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 bam. Greenbeard does things that none of you are aware of. Marcus.
Was it my go, or is it? Oh, sorry. Sorry, when you said it's just a description.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was like, I do this.
A backflip. Okay, that's your reaction, John. Marcus, go.
Yes.
So you've seen Tails now do that last bit round the bend. The Earth Elemental has joined Tails. These Spirit Guardians circulating Lucia as she goes in. Lucia's Spirit Guardians take up the tunnel.
Okay.
But they're just whizzing around you. They don't actually touch you or anything.
Is anybody actively acting aggressive towards me?
Towards you, no, because again, remember that an entire turnaround, so if there's 30 people, it takes 6 seconds for those 30 people to do something. So whilst all this is happening, they've gone for arrows towards Tails, and Earth Elemental's gone round there. They're clearly reacting to the Earth Elemental and this lunatic Tabaxi that kind of had a point right now. And then the Spirit Guardians have come round with the cleric that is Lucia. So this is all happening like as Marcus is blinking, essentially.
Yeah. Is there any of them that looks like they might be calling the shots?
Not that you can pick out at this instance. But again, give me an intelligence roll. Just a straight intelligence check. So D20 plus your intelligence modifier.
11.
11?
Yeah.
11. So, for the viewers at home, yeah, you can't really. There's no one sticking out. That's they don't really have rank on their shoulders or anything. There's no symbology on them. 3 of this, 2 of that, stars, etc. There just appears to be a bunch of mountaineering elves in front of you. That clearly they have the same white face paint stripes across their faces. They are 100% Shigari elves. You haven't just walked down a random tunnel street that there's other elves.
They're all pulling up.
They're all. They've got their swords on their hips. They're all carrying short bows or long bows, quivers, ready to go out into the mountains. And the immediate 6, not far from Tails, are literally loading their bows with arrows on notching them, ready to shoot at what appears to be Lucia, Tails, and the Earth Elemental.
Then
one or 2 of them do kind of glance in your direction.
Why wouldn't they?
Because stealth 10.
No, it's because I look damn handsome. I'm going to... I'll just go for the nearest one then. Okay.
Cool. So are you firing?
I don't... I use my daggers, don't I?
That's up to you.
Yeah, I use my daggers.
Cool. So you can throw a dagger. So if you go running in, bearing in mind you are fully aware there is at least 10. As Tails told you, there was more than 10. So you are aware that if you run into combat, there is at least 10 people that could get round you. Granted, only 8 can actually surround you, if you're honest.
80?
Yep.
I'm really sorry, but under my weapons, I must be thinking of a different incarnation of this character, because under my weapons, it doesn't say dagger.
Have you got them equipped? I might not have equipped them when I sent you the PDF. Or are you looking on? Are you looking at a PDF or are you looking on D&D Beyond?
PDF, because I can't get onto D&D Beyond.
Cool. So your daggers are your proficiency bonus and dexterity. So whatever your dex.
Sorry.
So what's your proficiency bonus?
For what? Sorry.
Just a generic proficiency bonus. You'll have it at the top of the character sheet. I think it's +2. Or has it gone up to 3 yet?
I'm really sorry, I can't see it on the PDF.
That's alright, don't worry about it. Anyone else that's got their character open, what's your proficiency at level 4? Is it still 2?
2.
Cool. What's your dex modifier, Marcus?
+4.
+4. So you, with your weapons, is +6. So it'll be a d20. So if you want to make a note of that, and we can sort your character sheet afterwards. +6 will be what you add to any dexterous weapon. So a dagger, a bow, small weapons like that.
Yeah. Cool.
So
how far away is the nearest one to me?
30 feet.
Move and stab.
So you go into combat with them, yeah?
Fuck it, yeah, let's do it.
Cool. You go flying in. You have both your daggers out. So roll your attack with your main hand. So it'll be a d20 +6. You can't. It looks like an 8, love. All right. You're like,
no, it's not an 8. It's not an 8, mate. It's not an 8. It's a natural 20.
It's a nat 20. Right. Cool. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you hit. Right. So
26. That'll be.
So you definitely hit the one in front of you. Yep. You
Yep.
don't get sneak attack because
No.
there is no element in this combat that allows you to do sneak attack. But you do the double. Just roll. So you have 4 automatically. Roll a d4.
Next, I found the thing. It's yeah.
Brilliant.
3.
So that's 7 plus your dexterity.
Dexterity bonus
Yep.
is +4.
So you do 11 points of damage with your first dagger.
Yep.
And it sinks in to the elf next to you. And you see this elf's friends all around it. Like, oh, I see. And then you use your bonus action to stab with your offhand, yes?
Yeah.
Right, cool. This attack, you don't add your dexterity modifier. So it's only +2, not +6.
Okay.
Okay, so roll a d20 +2.
It's 5 this time.
Cool.
So, sorry, 7.
Cool. So you sink your first dagger to the hilt into the flanks of this elf, and you'll feel blood pour out over your arm, and you know you've hit sweet. When you pull the dagger out, you sort of spin your other offhand and punch out at their face, but they lean out the way just on reflex from the first attack. So the second attack does not hit. But you are now in combat with multiple elves, okay?
Okay.
Guarantee you ain't getting rest again. Marcus. Heskin. You moved up, didn't you? So you can see a lot of elves very similarly fashioned to the ones that you fought on the way in here. As in on the way from your original journey. What do you do?
Alright, so I come around the corner, shoot the crossbow at the first elf lassie.
Do you shoot the one that's already been stabbed, or do you just shoot a different one?
I shoot the one that's closest to any of my mates.
So your immediate targets, numbers 1 to 6. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 has been stabbed by Marcus.
Cool. I'll shoot that one then.
So you shoot number 2.
Yep. That's a 20. It's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Yep.
Yeah, that does indeed hit, my friend.
Cool. And let me just roll a d10. That is 6 piercing damage.
6 piercing damage. Are you heavy crossbow or light crossbow?
That's heavy crossbow.
Cool. Your thick crossbow bolt jams into its shoulder. It stumbles ever so slightly away from Marcus, but then rights themselves as they are now back in front of Marcus. You got a bonus action?
Yep, bonus action. I'm gonna cast Bless on Lucia. It's up to 3, so Lucia, Marcus, and Tails.
Lucia, Marcus, and Tails.
So whenever you make an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, which is concentration up to a minute, you can roll an extra d4 and add that to it.
Is it just once?
It says whenever.
Every roll. Every single
I was
roll.
thinking of it's Bardic Inspiration in it or something like that.
That you get once. Yeah. Bless gives you a d4 to every d20 roll you do until his concentration fails or the spell runs out, except damage. You only add it to your d20 rolls.
Yep.
And it's every single roll. So if you've got 5 attacks, you get blessed 5 times.
And I'm trying to keep Heskin in between everything in front of us and Tidus.
Okay, I see. They've got a job on to get through you all. There's an Earth Elemental, a Tabaxi, a Dragonborn Paladin, and a Spirit Guardian Cleric.
Yeah.
But you do indeed angle yourself, and you put yourself as the direct line if they wish to go for Tidus. Yep.
Alrighty.
Lovely jubbly. After Eskin, it's Tom Tom's turn. You'll be shocked to see what Tom Tom does. He sort of rubs his vambraces together and they spark, and he like clang, 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 clangs them together. There is a spark of blue electricity shoots all around him, and you see him sort of like almost gear up like he's hasted, and he will go flying in to the elves, and he will swing his lovely dwarven axe. Double 19, Jesus Christ. Okay, I don't know again. And Tom Tom will fly in his hasted little self, and 4 and 5 of the immediate elves in front of you are creamed into the floor. And you just, like, Tom Tom is just slaying silently, doesn't scream a war cry or anything, just goes in and efficiently dispatches 2 elves. Norma, the frightened elf swordsman, swordsfolk, is right next to you, 10 feet from you, bolting for the archway that you came out of. And you can see Gorigar being dragged. Don't take a genius to work out that your pal Argon is dragging him. What do you do?
I mean, it seems like he's doing a standout job, really, and there's no massive obstacles in his way.
Not in his way, no.
I mean, it's going to be occupied for a few turns.
Yep. So.
Do cantrips count in terms of losing my visibility?
Any action you take, and I don't mean an action, as in the mechanic. I mean, if you do something that is causing you to swing a sword, cast a spell of any flavour, you know, then you reveal yourself.
Okay. I'm just going to wander close to the entrance then. Just keep moving back. Giving space for that elf to run past me.
So you're only 15 foot from the 40-foot archway that you came through, so you could actually do your full movement out of the antechamber.
Yeah.
Cool. So you bugger off out the antechamber. Are you holding your action just in case to cover Argon? Are you know, I don't know what you're going to cover him with, but.
Yeah, I'll have to wait till my next turn really to do anything useful, so no.
Okay. So that's normal. Tails. They set off your arrow. You fired.
Well, that was the warning shot out the way. We might as well get on with this. I pull out my rapier and short sword, and I will go for. Are there any kind of that are on the cone on the outskirts kind of thing?
Give me a perception check.
15.
Cool. Of the immediate ones in front of you, because of the ones TomTom killed, number 6 is stood alone enough that you would get your swashbuckling powers.
Nice. I'll go for that one.
Cool.
And I will go in with a booming blade.
Oh sh.
So let me just swap to my rapier. That will be a 17 to hit.
Boom. So your booming blade rapier, lightning encompasses now the elf.
And then it is rapiers, it's a booming blade. So if it moves, it takes the 1d8 thunder damage.
Yep.
But it takes 9 points of piercing damage. In fact, and then I do my sneak attack as well because there's nobody around it.
Yep, you do indeed.
6 points in the sneak attack.
So what, you done 15 in total?
Yep, 15 in total.
Yeah.
How far away was it from me? It was 15, wasn't it?
From where you were stood, it was 20 feet from you.
Oh, 20 feet.
Because
okay, cool.
she's on the far side.
I will then, because of my fancy footwork, if I've hit a creature, then I can move away without provoking an attack of opportunity. So I'll move 10 foot away from it and then just gesture towards it like,
come at me. You did you did well. Did you? You didn't. You booming bladed. Okay. So your rapier, as it pierced and encompassed it with that like blue lightning net, you did a massive amount of damage to that elf. She don't look happy as you bounce out the way. Just so you know, just because I bugged it up last time, your fancy footwork, is it not if you just attack anyone you can bugger off? You don't have to hit.
Yeah. So I like
cool.
that. Yeah, it is. Yeah. If I make a melee attack, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
It's just for FYI.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I believe. Let me check my stuff. Tails. Tidus is still maintaining control of the Earth Elemental, so we'll send the Earth Elemental in to the elves. As it is almost like reaching the top of the tunnel anyway, it somehow manages to go around TomTom and Tails in a very strange, as though it is sliding along the earth, and just batters into these elves, and it will smash into number 3, just 2 big club-like stone fists with no like digits. They just look like boulders on the ends of thick arms, and with its first attack it will slam the elf for a 20 and it will slam for a 10. Well, that was shit. So the first one, as it smashes in, it will do 14 points of bludgeoning damage to number 3. And this elf, how it does not get squished as the first fist slams it towards the floor and the second one slams the floor. You can almost see the elf say a prayer. Ding 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 ding. After Tidus, it is the very scared elf that from the antechamber goes bolting again 60 feet. Just keeps running. Norma, you see the elf running and running. It doesn't seem to be shaking it off as well as you did. Now the elves will attack back. Marcus, right in front of you, you have elf number 1 and number 2 and number 3, but the earth elemental being in combat has made it quite difficult for them to get advantage on you. So number 3 will attack the earth elemental as it pulls out its scimitar. That is shocking. Yeah, ain't hitting that. And it'll swing twice and rolled an 8 twice. Oh my god. Number 2, the one that you stabbed and got shot, will swing its first scimitar at you. And get a 14. What is your AC, Marcus?
My AC is 15.
Cool. So you just dodge out of the way as its second attack comes in. This attack is a 20, not natural. And you take 5 points of slashing damage as the elf is swinging its scimitar at you. And then elf number 1, who hasn't been touched yet, gets a 17 and a natural 20. So the... maybe. So, what did you took? 5 slashing off elf number 2. Elf number 1, its first attack does 6 points. So you've done 11 so far.
Yeah.
And then the natural 20 is 6, 10, 12. So you take 23 points of slashing damage in total from the 2 elves.
So that leaves me on 4 hit points.
Cool.
4.
Aye. Maybe next character, play fighter. So you, these 2 elves just come at you with their scimitars, and you're trying to parry away with your daggers, but you're in close quarters. The earth elemental's there, and they get 2 really good couple of blows on you. The one that is fighting Tails will step forward, Tails.
Nice.
Blissfully unaware of what Booming Blade does.
Takes 2 points of lightning damage.
Does it take their turn, or can she keep moving?
If the target willingly moves before then, it immediately takes... Oh, it's thunder damage, sorry. Thunder damage, that's it. Yeah, 2 points of thunder damage.
And then can keep walking, yeah?
Yep, yeah.
Cool, she steps forward, scimitar out, taking the damage. She's sort of swaying. She looks like in a crippled state, mate. First scimitar comes in on a 13. Second scimitar comes in on a 10.
AC's 14.
So 13 and 10 both miss. You don't even bring your rapier up. You just use your short sword and your offhand and just sort of like ting ting, like you're teaching a child how to fight. What you do notice though is another 6 elves step up. Yep. Like they sort of now all coming round now as the fight is getting into the point of, all right, this is all kicking off in the tunnels. 12 seconds have passed. It's been mental. Yep. Again, all these elves, they're all in that very similar attire to Out on the Way. You can see a couple at the back that are making their way through that are carrying wooden staffs. Yep. Rather than bows in their hand. That is those elves go. So they've now joined the fray, and they will be manoeuvring themselves into you lot next time round. Bolted. Right, the big creature. Argon, you can see this creature munching through one of those larger beasts that you fought before, or at least something similar. It is still crunching through it, and this creature is trying to fight to get out of the maw of this massive, hulking, bug-like entity. And it is still munching through it, as its devour action is still maintaining on the creature. It's now your go, Argon.
More pulling.
So you just keep pulling?
How close am I to the door?
Before you pull, you are 50 feet.
I still got to go. Oh, right, so I get there, I get to...
So it'd be 50 feet to the door, or the 40 foot across archway that you and Norma came through, and then you'll be, like, the tunnel is directly the next thing. So in 40 feet, you will be at the crossover point between antechamber and tunnel. Does that make sense? You're in the doorway, essentially.
Right.
And you
keep going, man. I keep going.
Cool.
There's no what actions I can take, really. That make it any better.
You maintain the spell. Good lad. So.
So that means I'm 10 feet away from the door. This thing.
You are.
Is it an actual door?
No, it's a massive archway, mate. When you first came to this antechamber, it's 40 foot across, and an arch into the antechamber.
Right. Okay. That's me done. Hopefully, Norma's following me.
Yep. Again, no idea. Right. There's a lot. See, look, that's a trust in a party. Is that? That is trust in a party. So, that is Argon doing the heroic thing of get them out. Lucia steps a few feet forwards and joins the fray as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 saves are needed. How many dice have I got here? 5. Fail, fail. Ooh, not 20. Succeed, fail, succeed. 2 more. Ooh, 2 13s. Fail, fail. Oh, yes. Yeah, I love rolling dice. 10, 16, 17. 20. That is a horrendous amount of damage. So she does 24 points of damage with her Spirit Guardians. And you see succeeded, succeeded. Yeah, they're fine. You see number 1 that is fighting next to Marcus. These little cherub angelic creatures that are just spinning all over the tunnel now, but not touching any of the allies, friends of Lucia. Just dive into these elves and start. There's some sort of radiant spark coming off them as they're flying around the elves. One collapses, blood coming out of just somewhere. The new ones that have turned up, we'll go with 8, 9, 10. They've taken so much damage from these Spirit Guardians as they've just stepped up to see what's going on that they hit the deck. One of the staff wielders hits the deck. I need to get me some Spirit Guardians. So you are left with 5 elves out of the 12. Well played, Lucia. Greenbeard does things you do not know. Marcus. Some horrific massacres just happened, and a lot of elves have died. But the elves that are remaining are looking pretty beaten up, except for 2 across the way near Tails. But there is still the one that you originally engaged in front of you, and the one that the Earth Elemental's fighting. So there's one engaged with you, 1 engaged with the Earth Elemental, 1 engaged with Tails, and 2 not yet engaged.
I need to finish up. The one that's engaged with me, is it the one that I sunk my dagger into?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to finish them off then, but I've only got 4, so half of me is kind of going survival instinct and just saying I need to fall back.
You see the same look of survival instinct in the elf's eyes that you stabbed.
I'm going to move back, but get my throwing blade ready a bit.
So, as a rogue, you can use your bonus action to do something called disengage, which means I don't get to swing at you when you move back. So, if you use your bonus action to disengage, you can then use your movement to run away from me, and I don't get a free attack at you.
I'm going to do that because I'm on 4 points of damage.
Cool. So, are you doing your full 30 feet of movement, or are you... How far away from the fight are you going?
I've not got my distance from throwing.
I think it's 20 feet and 40 feet or something.
Right, I'm going to move 20 feet away.
Cool. So you disengage from the fight and you shift 20 feet back. And are you going to throw it or are you going to ready it?
Ready it.
Yeah. So you're going to ready the throwing, are you? All right. And what is the trigger?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
So you have to say to me what makes you throw the dagger. So if you say, as an example, just so you know how specific it is, if you say he goes left, I throw it at him. If the creature goes right, then it doesn't trigger, because that's not the trigger you stated. So you need to tell me what triggers you to go, I throw the knife.
If he moves away from the fight, I don't throw. If he moves towards... I think Tails is nearest to him at the moment, isn't he?
Nearest to that elf is the earth elemental. So Tails is... You and Tails are on opposite sides of the width of the tunnel. And the tunnel width is 30 feet-ish.
If he moves towards any of my companions, I throw.
Do you classify the earth elemental as a companion?
It's being controlled by Lucia, so yes.
Yes, cool. Okay, so that is your trigger. Heskin. Yep. It's all going off in the tunnel, Heskin. Genocide. You are muted, but I'm sure what you said was poetic.
It was great. No better words will ever be spoken on the stream again.
Oh, we've missed it, kids.
I'm going to step a few feet forward, slap a hand on the back of Marcus with lay on hands, heal you for 10.
Heal you for 10, cool. So as Heskin lays his scaled hand upon you, you have a very brief moment, almost when someone does, you know, the flashcards in front of you. You can see a entity in a muscled cuirass, you know, the muscled armour, huge ram horn pauldrons, a Greek-style helmet, which I've completely forgotten the actual name for. So you can't see the eyes or the face; they're just slitted.
Comes over here, yeah, I know.
Yeah, and the big cheek plates, so you can't see the armour wearer. You can just see this, and it is a flash in front of you, covered in ram iconography. And you'll feel this divine warmth as your smaller wounds start to knit together, the scratches and smaller cuts. The massive wound you took from that critical hit doesn't close completely, but starts to shrink in lethality as you receive 10 hit points from Heskin. That's you cast lay on hands, kids. Yeah, there's some of that down here.
Is there any way to say thank you, or? Yeah,
you turn and go thank you.
Oh, I didn't know whether I had the opportunity
to
do so.
Yes. Those smaller moments, feel free to go nuts with.
And then Heskin's going to look over at Tails and bring up a hand to cast Shield of Faith on him as a bonus action.
Shield of Faith, is that the +2 AC or is that the Wisdom check?
That is +2 AC.
+2 AC. Oh, Sanctuary is the savior. Cool. Tails, you do not see the imagery of a ram. You just feel warm and fuzzy, like a nice day in the garden. And that is you, Heskin?
Yeah, that's me.
Tom will look at Lucia. You will hear him. Does any of you speak Dwarven? Where's Norma when you need her? Huh?
I speak Dwarven.
Cool. You hear Tom say quietly, "Show off," as he looks across to Lucia. He will then, so he was 4 5. He will then turn, walk up to number 7, have an attack of opportunity against him from the one fighting Tails. Yeah, actually hit him. Well, fudge me. Cool. Tom takes some hits. He gives, or appears to give, no fuchs. But as he walks past, like behind the fight where Tails you're engaged with one of the elves, you see the elf just lash out and it cuts Tom across the back of his head. He just keeps striding up to the 7th elf and will swing his axe. That's a D12, so we'll roll a D20. I literally rolled 2 3s. That is ridiculous. So Tom. On 2 3s, hits with both attacks. Oh, I love Tom. Hasted attack. Oh. Now I can roll my d12. And decimates elf number 7. Tails, you see his axe swings. Bear in mind he's swinging a great axe, and you've watched and learned and taught yourself how to manoeuvre around these brutes that fight with strength rather than finesse. He's swinging them as fast as you're swinging your rapier. Supernaturally so. That is Tom Tom's go. Norma, you're perched outside the antechamber. You can see Argon 10, 15, 12 feet from the doorway before he'll pass over the antechamber.
She was in about 10 foot from me. She's on the edge of the antechamber.
Yep, so Argon is 10 feet from the doorway and you're right on the edge, so 10 from you, give or take an inch.
Cool. So I can walk 10, touch the floating body, make that invisible, drop in my own invisibility.
Okay.
And then I'll spend the remainder of my movement sprinting it out.
So you walk in 10 feet, cast invisibility as an action, and then move 15 feet back out.
Yep.
Cool, you do that. Argon, you kind of feel Norma or somebody push past you, and then Gorigar goes invisible in your hands, and then tippy tap her feet away from you.
I was going to say, that drops my invisibility, so then Norma...
Oh, right, yeah, so you will immediately see Norma.
And sprints off.
And she runs...
Give you, like, the thumbs up.
She runs out. Yeah. Tails. You've got an elf in front of you, one with a staff about 10 feet from you, and then there is one fighting an earth elemental and one kind of stood on their own that was fighting Marcus.
I will hit the one in front of me.
Cool. This elf, she is looking not healthy at all.
Okay, I'll hit with... that is a 15.
15 just hits.
Cool. And that is 6 points of damage.
You push your rapier through her throat, mate. And she
I was going to say, and it's a sneak attack as well, but yeah, if it's dead, they're dead.
I'm pretty sure your dex bonus alone would have finished her.
Yeah.
So your action does finish her. It does take your sneak attack, just so you know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So you wouldn't be able to move and then go, well, I didn't use it on her. It does get used in your...
Yeah, that's happy days. Yeah. And then there's an elf 10 foot in front of me, is there?
Yes, one with a staff.
Are they on their own?
Yeah, they're on their own.
I will move forward and offhand attack. That is okay with a short sword?
Yep, go for it.
That is... it's more to attack. So 21 to hit with that one.
You definitely hit the elf. He's got a very wizened look, aged look about him, even for an elf. And his hair's greying. And the white stripe across his eyes, there are 2 red stripes down as well.
That is 2 points. No, 3 points of damage, sorry. 3 points of piercing damage.
3 points of piercing damage. Cool.
And then I will move 20 foot backwards because of my fancy footwork.
Wow. And no attack of opportunity. Cool. So, you've gone running back. Tails. Earth Elemental will try to smash 2 slam attacks at the elf it's fighting. First one, you're joking. Second one does hit. 6. And the Earth Elemental, after 4 slam attacks at this elf, finally crushes it just into bits. It's just munching through its bone with its fists. If you can munch with your fists, but we're going with it now. I'm committed. That will be Tidus's go. He scans around the area. He's been in these situations before with Lucia and Tom Tom, and he's now seen some pretty nifty companions pulling out some good shit. And will happily pass up. So you, the scaredy elf, again fails to resist the frightened, and is just bolting down that tunnel. It is now the massive creatures. It finally finishes devouring this large bone scythe entity. Looks across, sees as Norma's bolting out of the thingy, and starts making its way towards the antechamber door. And it moves 40 feet closer to that antechamber door. Argon.
So I'm not already out the antechamber.
Yeah, you're already out. Argon, it's 30 feet from you. Or at least it's 20 feet from you if you were to engage it, but the creature itself is in that, because it's very big. Which makes it 25, 30 feet from the antechamber door as well. But it's go. It has no actions, but it has finished after 3 rounds devouring that creature. Argon, it's your turn.
Eddie, I might have missed something. Is this actually Rosalind? Or what there used to be Rosalind?
The giant creature?
Yeah.
It was birthed from Rosalind, yes. Or her death, yeah.
Right, okay. No. I was going to go back for Rosalind, thinking it was...
Oh, God.
Still there.
I will tell you now, as AD and the DM, do not go back for Rosalind. Because she's coming with you, by the looks of it. You hero,
I will
you.
move... I will move towards, your chamber. I'll move right towards the edge of it as I'm moving out of it. That makes any sense. But give the creature enough room to get down the tunnel without trampling all over me.
So the antechamber entrance is 40 feet across, and the creature's 25 foot across. So you can easily do that. So yes, you can do that, mate.
Yeah,
So you pull Gorigar 10 feet to the edge and then 20 feet into the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
The tunnel itself does narrow, but further down, and it narrows to 30 feet, and the creature's 25. So if you were to be after the creatures, you know what I mean?
There's a good chance this creature's going to go past me.
Oh yeah.
It's faster than me anyway. So.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You pull Gorigar out.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to keep hold of an invisible object that are now.
Well, you
let go of it.
Don't let go.
Yeah,
That's all you've got to do. And it's unlikely that he'll roll away, but
yeah.
So yes, you. That is Argon's go. Lucia, Spirit Guardians, because they're still there. This is Jesus Christ. I'm playing a cleric next. Saves for 1, 2, 2 of them. So the one that was fighting Marcus fails. The one fighting Tails plus 15 fails. Oh, look, you're dead. So the one that you were fighting, Marcus, you see and kind of recognise now as the first attacks of these radiant infused cherubs annihilate it. That it was indeed in a state of, similar to yourself, ready to drop. But the Spirit Guardians of Lucia finished it off. And the one that Tails is now fighting takes 12 points of damage. Bam, 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 bam. And that is Lucia's turn. She does not move to engage. She merely stands there and lets her Spirit Guardians do stuff. Greenbeard does things you are not aware of. Marcus. There is one elf left, standing at least, in this tunnelway where you are. It is currently fighting Tails and is standing and looks like an old elf. It still has the white stripes that the rest of them have, but this particular one has 2 red stripes over the left eye. And looks beaten to crap at the minute.
I want to shout to Tails to stop, leave him.
Okay, you shout that. You can shout. That's a free action. You've still got stuff. You're just shouting at somebody. Doesn't take any of yours.
Oh, okay.
So you still have an action bonus movement. You're feeling a lot better.
I want to move to engage with that thing, but I just get the sense that this person is a revered elder and it's not really honourable.
So, do you move into, as if you were on a grid, do you move into melee with the...
No, I move nearer though.
You move nearer, but you're not in melee, okay? That's important to understand for things that are happening.
Yeah. Cool.
Heskin. There's one elf left. There's no green beard. What do you do? It's your opportunity, guys.
I shoot him.
Cool, fire.
It's a 19.
You do shoot him.
Yep, that's 8 piercing damage.
Cool. So your crossbow bolt. Tails, you noticed that the elf in front of you was bringing his hand up, and there was a real pale, warming green light in his hand, with wisps of black and grey and silver mixed in. And that light just fades as a crossbow bolt just goes through his left eye, out the back of his head, and you see the back end of the bolt where the face was of the elf. Heskin, you still have movement and bonus.
What else?
There's no other elves. There are 12 dead elves on the floor in front of you. There are still spirit guardians going on.
No, that's everything. Apart from that, it's just keeping myself between that one elf, I guess, and Titus.
There are no elves, mate. You've just killed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the end of my turn. Just
cool.
Relax for a second.
Tom will look about the place. Look further down the tunnel. He'll do a perception check. They're all fucking hard. There are more. And Tom just sort of turns, faces down the tunnel, and sets his legs and holds his axe ready. Norma. The huge, enormous creature is making its way out the antechamber.
Sweet. I'm just going to sprint as fast as I can out the cave.
So you do 50 feet down?
Yep.
You are now, as you run 70, you are not far from where it forks. You're about you're about 10 feet from where it forks, you know, when you first came in. So now obviously the entrance is in front of you, and then 10 feet into your left would be the right hand passage. So give me a perception check.
Uh, 20, not natural.
Boom, nice. You hear quite a lot of fuss as you've been running down this passage. You can almost hear the echoes of, well, you got a 20, you hear the echoes of combat from somewhere echoing around the tunnels. You don't know if it's up the fork, back the way out, but there was definitely sounds of combat going on somewhere in this tunnel system. And that is Norma's turn. Tails, there are no elves in front of you. Tom has made you aware. There are more coming.
Which way are they coming from?
In front of you.
Okay. Perhaps we should prepare to engage, and I will maybe go and hide nearby the entrance to where they're coming from.
So you're now looking down a tunnel.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So there is a tunnel in front of you that leads on.
Yeah.
How far you do not know, and you can't yet see. So 60 feet. If you have dark vision of 60 feet, you can't see anything yet. However, TomTom did tell you there are more coming.
Okay. Well, so we have a few options here. We can go back to the crossroads and try the left-hand side, or we can press on down this way. This one's obviously just a long tunnel, but we could check the other side just while we're here. Are we still in initiative? Actually?
You are still in initiative, mate.
Okay. Is there anywhere to hide?
There is enough, other than using the shadows to your advantage and the shape, because the rock isn't smooth. The tunnel was made, but it isn't polished. So you could probably angle yourself. I mean, you saw Marcus disappear at least once working your way up here.
Okay. It doesn't really benefit me, but perhaps we could move back to where the crossroad bit is, or the junction is, and engage there. Okay, right. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to wait and see what everybody says.
Cool. Tidus looks around the place. He's got the Earth Elemental. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to double check the spell that it's run out. Because I think it's a minute. Oh, it's 1 hour. Ah, cool. He's got an Earth Elemental. I thought it was 1 minute. Yeah, so Tidus is still like, he's half got his hand up, nodding, looking around the place. Do you want me to bring down the tunnel? He asks.
We don't know. Oh, can I respond?
Yeah, you get a quick response.
We don't know if our other group is this way.
Cool. Sorry, Tails. Give me a perception check on your turn, mate. And Tidus will do the same. Fail miserably.
That is so 90, 20.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
3.
Back towards the fork, where the lighting is, like it's spread out. You can hear heavy breathing, like panting, and you see somebody. You just see the shine of light off a blade, and there is somebody of humanoid nature bolting to the exit that have come down from the left-hand tunnel.
Can I go around the corner enough? Like, if I see that, can I go around the corner enough to see who it is?
No. Like, you moved up, and they're at the fork of the tunnel, and they're doing dash sprint. Get the hell out of dodge.
Cool.
So cool. It's just humanoid in shape.
I just say, somebody check who that is.
Tidus tries to check, fails miserably, asks if you want him to bring down the tunnel. You want to wait. It is now the creature's turn. Argon and Norma. And it's out into the tunnel now. So the immediate where the tunnel meets the antechamber is also 40 feet, but it does narrow to 30 feet. It moves 40 feet. It is now out into the tunnel, and it is crouching down even more so in its gorilla-like stance. And it is now pulling on the floor beneath it, almost dragging itself through the tunnel, as you can hear its carapace armour scraping on the tunnel ceiling. Argon, you can just see a 5-foot thin strip where you'd have to go adjacent to it, or as you said earlier, let it go. It's faster than you, and you'll just keep plodding. And the creature is clearly going that way. It sees Norma, and then will use its actions to carry on another 40 feet. So you turn around, and you see this. So Norma, 10 feet from you, you can see this creature absolutely you just take over this tunnel with its size. Bar a little strip, a 5 foot slip next to it. It takes up the height and 25 feet of this 30-foot wide tunnel, and it's just staring out. Its eyes are bugged and have the like netted look across its eyes, which are like nearly the size of you, these eyes. So you are 10 feet from this horrific thing. You are not scared of it, but you are very aware that it hurts. And that's its go. Yeah, that's its go. We'll do that later. Argon, you're just going to keep pulling? You're on mute, mate.
I'm new. So where is it past me, or is it just like alongside?
It is practically. It is alongside of you, but obviously it's got 5 squares. You take 1 square, so it is alongside of you, but not. It's not like high-fiving you. It doesn't seem to have reacted to your presence.
I will try and get, instead of dragging him along the floor now, I'm going to try and pick. I know it's a bit more difficult now as invisible. But I'm going to try and like pick...
Piggyback into that thing. Fireman's lift it, yeah.
Yeah,
cool. Just give me an athletics check.
Oh, a good one. 3.
3. You, unfortunately, as you try to pull and like position yourself, the invisibility is just making it too hard. Like you can't judge where his arm and leg is, and you know you can't really angle it enough to get. You're pretty sure that you could if you got the angle right, but you just spent so much time. I mean, he's a dead weight at the minute. Again, you notice doesn't yelp or make any noise. He's clearly in that semi-conscious state, but you banging him about on the floor and stuff and against the wall just doesn't. He doesn't go. There's just a consistent status of Goriga.
Well, without move, can I just like lean him against the wall for a sec while this thing passes and I'll.
Cool. So you've used your action to try and lift, so you can keep dragging if you so wish, or you can just let it pass.
I'm gonna let it pass.
Cool. You let it pass. Good shot. Yeah. Lucia will start walking down towards the fork where Tails said, "Can someone check that out?" And she will sway as she walks down and be like, "Well, might as well." And she starts walking down. She moves 30 feet. She will use her dash action to move to the rest. So she's now at the fork. Or just past it, actually. Norma, you see Lucia stood at the corner, looking down the tunnel. Lucia shouts back to you, Tails, "It's an elf!" And that is Lucia's go. Greenbeard does stuff. Marcus. Lucia's still got the Spirit Guardians up. It's your go, Marcus.
What can I say?
You can see your companions. You can see Lucia now down past the fork where the original fork was, and you guys came right. She shouts back, "It's an elf," and you sort of noticed what Tails was pointing out when he saw somebody running away. There are 12 dead elves on the floor in front of you. Tom is stood facing further into the tunnel system, ready, and has informed you all that there are more coming. He didn't state a number, he just said there are more coming. And Tails obviously said, you know, what's crack-a-lacking.
So, I want to... Isn't Heskin's just behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, give or take a 5 feet, yeah.
Yeah. Where's Norma?
Norma wasn't with you. Norma and Argon, if you remember, they infiltrated ahead of you. So that's why Norma and Argon have not been with you. They've been in their own little scene. And Marcus, the assassin, has just called. We'll make a professional out of you, yeah, love.
Hide in the shadows.
With the honour as well, you know. The honour.
So you give me a stealth roll.
$24.
Cool.
I'm good at something.
Yes, you successfully stealth. Most of you even stood there. You kind of just turned for a moment, and Marcus is gone. Are you doing anything else, Marcus? You're just hiding.
Just hiding.
Cool. Heskin. You've got more coming towards you from further into the tunnel. You've got Lucia that's walked or ran back down to the fork and told you that it's an elf, the thing that Tail said was running away.
Okay.
You could. By the way, I should have said this. You can all hear the rumble of something very heavy hitting the stone floor, cave floor, as this incredibly large creature is stomping its way out of the tunnel.
Yeah. Can we get a rough idea of what direction that's coming from, or is it?
Give me a perception check.
Alrighty. That's a 10.
I will say you know it's not coming in front of you, because you would hope that TomTom would have said, "What the fudge is that?" rather than "There's more coming." But TomTom is quite a stoic chap, so who knows?
Alrighty. In which case, start running back that way.
Back.
I'm probably gonna use my dash.
Are you
back
running
to the crossroads?
Okay. Yep.
And just try to keep an eye out, because if there's an elf that way, I don't want us getting surrounded in a cave.
So you rush back to where Lucia is, and you see Norma.
Alright.
Who is on where the fork would have gone left. She's right just before where it would have forked. And you see Norma and Tails and Lucia were indeed correct. There is an elf running for the exit. What's the range of your crossbow?
400.
Oh, Jesus.
Stretch.
You're fine.
Yeah, I'll shoot that elf. Why not? No, I dashed. Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
I
in.
could say I dashed. Alright, cool.
That'll be your go.
That'll be my go, yeah.
TomTom will look at Tails, so we're running. And we'll await an answer.
I was nodding. I don't think you could see.
Sorry, I was on a different tab, mate. TomTom shrugs, and in his hasted state, will bugger off back down to past the fork in the tunnels, and be a bit of a vanguard for on the way out. He will see Lucia, Norma, and Heskin, and will go, "That's new," and point down the tunnel that Norma is coming from. Norma, 10 feet behind you, as the realisation on Heskin and Lucia and TomTom the dwarf, left hook, as they see this thing now it's like drowning out the light, they can now see it just behind you, and the penny drops that there is a fecking huge thing 10 feet behind you. What do you do?
I found a new friend. How far away is the fork from me?
How far? It's 10 feet in front of you, and you're at the point, like the point of where it would fork.
I'm gonna sprint 10 foot and be like, "You might want to get everyone for this one. and then I'll click invisible, and then sprint 20 foot out the cave.
So to go invisible, are you doing that as a spell?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's your action.
Yeah,
So
so I'm moving,
Yeah.
talking to them, like not using all my movement, and then using the rest of my movement to run.
Ah,
whilst
right.
invisible.
Ah, right. So when you said dash out, I thought you was trying to dash.
Sorry, no,
Yeah.
it's only 10 foot. So
Stop using
I'm not
descriptive
dashing
words that are the same as the bloody. So
Okay.
cool. So you move 10 feet from it, go invisible, move your other 15 feet. Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
uncloak Gorga?
That will uncloak. Yeah.
Oh,
Body.
lovely.
You can see him better.
Oh yeah, that's.
But you are behind the monster, so fingers crossed.
Yes. Well played, Argon. I love that. Excuse me. Excuse me. Does that uncloak the guy I'm trying to sneak out of the building? I love gnomes. So, Norma, you run. Whoa, it's going to be a big one. Invisible. Gone. Tails. Everyone seems to be boogieing back to their fork.
I'll be joining them with my feline grace.
Yibbity. So is that you're taking your movement and
It basically doubles my movement.
cool. So you still have bonus and action left?
If I see anything, like round the corner, so I'll run basically my 30 foot, but I don't know if I get round the corner.
You don't get round the corner with a 30
Okay.
foot, but if you then if
So
you're doubling it, does your
I'll
feline
dash
grace take a
I'll dash with my
bonus?
action.
Cool,
Yeah.
you now see it.
Cool. So I see Norma.
You don't see Norma. Norma's gone invisible. You see a creature that takes up the tunnel.
Okay.
The left-hand tunnel.
And then who's in front of me, like between me and it?
Lucia, Heskin, and TomTom.
Cool.
It is
How
20
far-
feet from the fork, and you're about well, up to you, but that fork would give you 10 feet of movement left. So you could either move towards it, or you could move 10 feet back. But you've got 10 feet to play with from the fork.
So I could move towards it, hit it. Is that what you're saying?
It's 20 feet from the fork, so you can move 10 feet towards it, but you'd still be 10 feet short.
Okay, so I use my feline grace at that point, which is just I can use it as long as like it refreshes on a standstill. So I use my movement to do 30 foot.
Yep.
I use my bonus action to dash, which is 60 foot.
Yep.
And then I use my feline grace, which doubles my movement for that turn, to get the rest of the way.
Okay.
And I hit it with my action.
Cool.
Cool. I will boom and blade it.
Cool. It's a good chance that's going to work. Remember, you're blessed, mate.
Is there anybody else within 5 feet of it at the minute?
40, 20. There is, but you don't know.
Cool. Okay. Well, so it's 21 to hit.
21 hits.
Cool. And my sneak attack depends on if there's people. So my rakish audacity, I don't need advantage on rolls for my sneak attack.
Yeah.
against
You
creatures.
get it.
Sure.
I'm aware of your swashbuckling.
Cool. Yeah,
Instead of the
I didn't
two
know
ways
if
you
there
get
was
through.
things
Yeah.
within 5.
So
but-
Argon is within 5 feet of it.
Yeah.
You don't know, but obviously your rogue-like abilities do.
So it takes 9 points of piercing, and then so it'll be another 9, so 18 points of piercing with the sneak attack.
Cool. And he's booming bladed, yeah?
And he's boom and bladed, and I'll use the rest of my movement, which I should have left because it doubles the 60 foot. So
Cool.
I use that to move away from it and get behind the rest of them.
Job's a good one.
Nice.
Ding, 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 ding. Right. I know how long this fight is going to take. And I do not want to go and end the session halfway through a fight. So after that first attack, I'm going to call the session there. Yep. So we are done for tonight. It's 11:15. So what we'll do is next time I will bring up a Roll20 map and all your tools and characters and stuff, because there's quite a lot going on and this is a very tanky fight. So I'd like more visuals for yourselves to be able to play with. So thank you very much, players, for playing. Thank you for watching this bunch of lunatics, Fable Forgers. Like I say, we started last year, we played it a couple of times and then we had to bin it off for a bit and we're trying to get it back and going again. So we're going to play it every 2 weeks. Obviously not next Sunday but the Sunday after. So tune in, look out for shouts for that. Thank you very much to anybody that watched or anybody that's watching on the Twitch VOD or YouTube. Thank you very much to our sponsors Ruffworx Creative and Sawdust Swearwords, who were quite active in chat. So thank you very much for that. Go check them out. Exactly how they're written is how you can find them on Facebook. Go check out their woodworky stuff. If you wish to follow anything that Heavyweight Gaming is doing, you can see our social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We do have a Patreon page, and if you wish to support us, you can either subscribe to the channel, you can subscribe to Patreon. If you have Amazon Prime and you feel like throwing a free Twitch Prime sub at somebody, we'll take it, just saying. Yes, if you do support us via Patreon, you will be rewarded with a lovely e-magazine full of 5th ed stuff, but we won't go into it because we're at the end. So thank you very much, tune in. I shall keep shouting about stuff. We've got lots of stuff that we're planning to do over the next couple of months, so watch out for that. Yeah, thank you very much to Sam, Grace, Rob, Eddie and Katie. You take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay 2 meters away from each other. Yeah, thank you very much. Say goodbye, players.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Apart from Rob, who's going to walk, like 2 rooms down and see Kelly. See you later, guys.